The Olympics, but a little more special. If you have ever been to a school, you may have noticed handicap signs or an entire classroom dedicated to people with special needs. Disabilities are impactful to people's lives and may make it difficult for some, yet most push through. These signs and areas are pivotal in the furthering of education for people with mental disabilities. Besides education, people with special needs love to be active. Ways people with disabilities like to spend their time is to exercise and compete with their friends, and that's exactly what the Special Olympics is. In this speech, I will share insight on the history of the Special Olympics, why it was and is so important, and who it affects. The Special Olympics was founded by Eunice Kennedy Shriver in 1962, but there were many people involved in the creation of the organization. Eunice was the sister to the famous President of the United States of America, John F. Kennedy, which is a major contribution to the organization gaining traction. Eunice and John both had a sister who had a mental illness, and they wanted to make sure that people could relate and who had the opportunity to live a normal life. The project started with 50 young people with intellectual disabilities, and it started in Eunice's backyard in Washington, D.C. According to the Special Olympics website, the project was then claimed the Shriver Camp as a place where intellectual disabilities could go and participate and compete according to Eunice Shriver's bibliography. In February of 1963, President John F. Kennedy had a bold new tactic and created the Maternal and Child Health and Mental Retardation Planning Act, which would grant $265 million to research and develop the mentally disabled and $330 million to new buildings to serve disabled citizens. In the summer of 1963, the camp is held nationwide and nearly 800 participants take part. In the October of 1963, President Kennedy signs the Maternal Child Health and Mental Retardation Planning Amendment to the Social Security Act, the first major legislation to specifically address mental retardation and mental illness. And that's according to Special Olympics official website. Exactly 1 week later, Kennedy signs another bill to further construction and treatment of people with mental disabilities. About a month later, on November 22nd, 1963, President Kennedy is assassinated and the project is put into a pause. Work keeps going in motion, but until 1967, a meet is finally in the planning stages and hopes to be a mass event at Soldier Field. Finally, on December 2nd, 1968, the first ever Special Olympics is held in Chicago, according to the history of Special Olympics. The Special Olympics have come a long way, and in 1970s, it gained a lot of traction worldwide. These ambassadors are widespread and known all over the world, as they include Andre Drummond, a professional basketball player, Avril Lavigne, a musician and philanthropist, Cafu, a legendary soccer player, John C. McGinley, an actor and advocate, Michael Phelps, a record-breaking Olympic swimmer, and many more influential people across the globe. Along with the celebrities, hundreds of thousands help out at meets nationwide. According to the Special Olympics website, there has been 1.4 million people to help as a yearly average. The reasoning for me choosing this topic is because my father was a large advocate for the Special Olympics, as he frequently donated monetarily and donated a lot of his time when he was younger. He loved to help out in any way he could with the project. Personally, I have always enjoyed spending time with people with special needs. And in my junior year of high school, I volunteered for a district-wide Special Olympics competition, which would move the kids to the regional level of the competition. In due time, I hope to volunteer at the nearest Special Olympic meets, and as one is held at Southeastern. It is held over the summer, and the athletes stay in the dorms, which I'll be very intrigued to be a part about. In conclusion, the Special Olympics are a great way to help people who are less fortunate and eventually get to know people's backgrounds. Their vision has always been that this is the chance to play, the chance to compete, and the chance to grow. So go out there, play, compete, and win.